Bears. Hairy bears. Bears are big, furry animals. They have large, round heads with small eyes and ears. These bears are brown bears. Young cubs. Baby bears are called cubs. They are born in winter in small caves or hollow trees. Cubs get food by drinking their mother's rich milk. Mother bears comfort their cubs when they're afraid. Mother bears lick their cubs to keep them clean. Cubs spend most of the time in their dens sleeping and drinking milk. Snowy dens. Polar bear cubs are born in winter too. Female polar bears dig dens in the snow. They crawl inside to rest and get ready to have their cubs. Their cubs are born inside the snow den. Snow dens are very warm inside, so polar bear cubs take a while to get used to the cold outside. Polar bear cubs have very white fur, which turns creamy as they grow older. Growing up. In the spring, cubs leave the den with their mother. Cubs spend a lot of time exploring, but they stay close to their mother. Brown bear cubs leave their mother when they are about 3 years old. Mother bears usually have 1 or 2 cubs at a time, but sometimes they have 3. Bears travel a long way to look for food. Sometimes a cub becomes tired and can't keep up. The mother bear carries the tired cub in her mouth. Furry coats. All bears are covered in thick fur. Polar bears live in icy places. Their fur is extra thick to keep them warm. If a polar bear is too hot, it rubs its tummy in the snow to cool down. Spectacled bears have white fur around their eyes which look like a pair of glasses. Sloth bears have long, shaggy fur. Their cubs travel on their mother's back. The cubs grab a chunk of her fur with their front paws. They scramble up and hold on tight. Then she stands up. Paws and claws. Bears' hands and feet are called paws. On each paw there are 5 long claws. Bears turn over rocks with their paws to look for insects to eat. Some bears use their claws like a comb to keep their fur clean and neat. Brown bears use their claws to dig up roots to eat. Polar bears' paws have grips so they don't slip on the ice. Pandas have an extra bone in each paw. They use it to grip bamboo plants to eat. Lunchtime. Most bears eat many different foods such as plants, fruit, nuts, and insects. Brown bears live on grasslands where there are lots of green plants to eat. A sun bear knocks a bee's nest out of a tree with its paws. It uses its long claws to break into the bee's nest. Then it licks up the honey inside with its long tongue. Bears often have bad teeth because they eat honey and other sweet foods. Some bears eat thousands of caterpillars in a day. Sneaky hunters. Bears that eat meat have to catch their prey. Brown bears pounce on small animals such as squirrels and mice. They will even jump into water to hunt for food. Polar bears hunt seal pups which live in tunnels under the ice. They thump the ice with their front paws to break into a tunnel. Polar bears catch adult seals too. A polar bear waits by a hole in the ice. A seal swims up to the hole for air. The bear drags the seal out of the water. Fishing fun. Bears that live near rivers go fishing. They catch and eat huge salmon. Brown bears stand at the top of waterfalls waiting for fish to jump up. As the fish jump, the bears try to catch one in their mouths. When a bear catches a fish, it carries it to the riverbank to eat. Brown bears usually catch about 15 salmon in a day. Climbing trees. Bears often live in forests, and most bears can climb trees. A cub digs its claws into a tree trunk. It grips the trunk with its back paws, then it pulls itself up with its front paws. Bears often sleep in trees. They feel safe high up in the air. Cubs climb trees when they are afraid. Pandas bend back tree branches and lie on them to rest and sunbathe. Standing up. Bears can stand on their two back legs. They use their front paws to balance. Some bears stand up to eat fruit from high tree branches. Bears often stand up to look around when they hear a noise. Polar bears stand up to wrestle, but they are only playing. If a polar bear stood up in a house, it would hit its head on the ceiling. Bears also stand up to rub their backs on trees so they can shake off loose fur. Bears sniff trees to tell if other bears have rubbed there too. Super swimmers. Polar bears are very good swimmers. They can swim for hours without stopping. They can jump into the water. A polar bear climbs out of the water onto the ice. It shakes itself like a wet dog to dry off. Then it rolls on snow to soak up the rest of the water. Polar bears paddle with their front paws and steer with their back paws. Polar bears can hold their breath underwater for 2 minutes. Hot and cold. Bears live in many different places. Some live in hot forests and others live high up in cold mountains. Some brown bears live near the sea. They use their long claws to dig for shellfish to eat on beaches. In hot summers, black bears dive into lakes to cool off. Spectacled bears live in rainforests. In the daytime, it's very, very hot, so the bears just sleep. At night, when it's cooler, they wake up and search for food. Playtime. Cubs are very playful, but adult bears play too. Pandas swing on tree branches. They sometimes hang upside down from trees. Pandas climb up steep slopes. They roll down to the bottom, then they climb back up again. Bears often lie on their backs and play with sticks and stones. Glossary of bear words. Here are some of the words in this book you might not know. This page tells you what they mean. Cub, a baby bear. Bears usually have 1 or 2 cubs at a time. Den, the place where cubs are born and live when they are very young. Fur, the fluffy hair all over a bear's body that keeps it warm. Paws, a bear's hands and feet. Bears walk on all 4 paws. Claws, spikes on bears' paws, which they use for digging and climbing. Prey, an animal that a bear has caught to eat, such as a seal.